I was gonna be one of those people who are like, if Amber Heard is in this movie, I'm gonna boycott it. But then I saw the title, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, and I saw the trailer and they showed kind of the Lost Kingdom. I was like, oh my god, I really want to know what this Lost Kingdom is. And so I watched it. And to my disappointment, they did not really talk about the Lost Kingdom. If I was not making this video, I would have just left it as Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Oh yeah, that was a pretty fun movie. I had a good time. But then I thought about it. Once you start thinking about it, everything really kind of falls apart from there. So this movie, second Aquaman movie, watched the first one 5 years ago. I had neutral feelings towards Aquaman as a character. This movie made me realize that I still am neutral towards Aquaman. He's really just kind of mediocre. He has a family now. He has a son, baby Aqua baby. He's married to Mera. Doesn't like being king of Atlantis, king of the ocean. He doesn't really have a say in a lot of the decisions the council makes. They don't like the fact that he has good relations with surface dwellers because they don't want the people on land to know of their existence. They're kind of like underwater Wakanda. Aquaman is kind of like Killmonger. He wants to better the relation between the surface dwellers and the Atlanteans. So yeah, he's just living his life. Everything's going pretty good until Black Manta comes back. If you remember him from the first movie, which I didn't really. I know him as a character, but I didn't know he was just gonna be the main villain of this movie. Then again, as I say that, I'm like, he wasn't exactly the main villain. I mean, he was the main villain, but then he finds the Black Trident, which we later find out belonged to Kordax, who was the king, the ruler of this lost kingdom that I, myself, and maybe some other people were very curious to find out more about, because this whole movie is about the Lost Kingdom, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. But it's not really about the Lost Kingdom. Back to Black Manta. So Black Manta found the Black Trident. He was already like very vengeful, set on getting rid of Aquaman, destroying him, taking away his family. He wanted revenge because Aquaman in the first movie, he killed Black Manta's dad, or not really killed him, but like refused to save him. Also because they were his enemy, so I don't know what Black Manta expected. The creators of this movie, they kind of did Black Manta dirty. They're basically like, okay, Black Manta, you're not really threatening enough as a villain by yourself. We're gonna kind of use this Black Trident to sort of elevate you, but then it kind of takes away from Black Manta's purpose. He doesn't give an F about the Lost Kingdom. He just wanted revenge on Aquaman. What else was he gonna do? Hypothetically speaking, if he did get rid of Aquaman, what would he even do from that point on? He was also a villain to begin with, so he probably had other goals. He probably wanted to take over the world. Finds the Black Trident. It kind of allows Kordax's spirit, or whatever, to kind of invade Black Manta's mind, to kind of control him, to basically corrupt him, to make him go on this sort of journey. He goes around trying to free Kordax and his people. Does he? I don't think he knew that's what he was doing. I mean, he kind of knew, but we basically find out that the Lost Kingdom used to be the Seventh Kingdom. So Atlantis used to be 7 kingdoms, and now they're only 6 because the 7th one, this lost one, got erased from the history books because they used to use this energy source called orichalcum that you can find in the sea. You can like dig up or something to technologically advance or power their civilizations. But eventually King Atlan was like, okay, y'all, we should probably stop using orichalcum because it's really bad for the environment. Apparently you can't destroy it, so they decided to bury it, you know, hide it away so that no one can find it. But then Kordax was like, no, I refuse to stop using this energy source. I need it to make my kingdom more powerful. So he kept using it. King Atlantis was like, oh my god, you're not listening to me. They're like brothers. And they start fighting each other. And then Kordax, he uses like black magic to create the Black Trident. And then he like corrupts his people. They all turn into like these zombie-like creatures. They fight King Atlan's army. And eventually they kind of lose, which I guess Atlan is strong with his army. And he uses blood magic to basically trap Kordax. He freezes the whole kingdom in ice and then also locks Kordax away in ice. And the only thing that can break this spell is King Atlan's blood or some descendant from his bloodline. When Black Manta finds this Black Trident, he goes and he steals the orichalcum that they buried or hid away, and he just starts burning it so that a lot of greenhouse gases are emitted and then the environment warms up. And apparently the goal of that was to melt the ice that was keeping Necros frozen. So the problem is twofold. You need to melt the ice and you need King Atlan's descendant blood to free Kordax. So Aquaman, after he finds this out, wants to stop Black Manta, but he doesn't know where Black Manta is, isn't confident that he can do this alone. So Queen Atlanna, was it her suggestion? She's like, hey, Arthur, you can go and find your brother Orm, the villain from the first movie. So this whole story just becomes the journey of two brothers to stop this villain and save the world. As a duo, they worked very well. I really enjoyed the interactions between Orm and Arthur Curry, Aquaman. Their dynamic is cool, but there's kind of some tension between them two because obviously Orm was like the villain that Aquaman defeated in the first movie. Orm is still a little bit bitter about it, but at the same time, he's like, well, you won fair and square, so I guess you're the rightful king. And it made me question, like, why Arthur? Why Arthur Curry? Why Aquaman? Why are you the rightful heir to the throne? I know you're like the older son. Orm is his younger brother, but Aquaman's dad is just Mr. Curry? But I don't know, because Orm says this line where he's like, yeah, ever since I was born and found out about your existence, I've been preparing for the day you come and take your rightful place at the throne. When Black Manta realizes that he needs King Atlan's descendant blood to undo the curse, he goes and kidnaps Aqua Baby. He's planning on using his blood, and then he does release Kordax. But then Kordax dies. The moment the ice melts, Kordax comes out, they are able to get rid of him. That was very anticlimactic. That was not something I should have been looking forward to because nothing even happened. I also think the whole climate change thing was very uninspiring. Climate change is an issue that we're all facing now, that we're all relating to, except for the people who don't believe in climate change. It's way more complicated than it sounds a lot of the time. I really don't like how this movie perpetuated the sort of simple solution. I guess they didn't really give a solution other than, okay, yeah, let's work together. But then it goes back to, there's a reason we burn these fuels. There's a reason why Necros, the Lost Kingdom, was burning orichalcum to begin with. They wanted to advance as a civilization, just like us on the surface. Necros could have played that role. They could have made it more multifaceted instead of just making them like purely evil. I kind of wanted to hear that Necros, they needed to develop so that they wouldn't get stepped on by Atlantis or King Atlan. They didn't want to be slaves, or before they made the decision to continue to burn orichalcum, they weighed it out and they're like, you know, the benefits outweigh the negatives. It's worth sacrificing polluting the environment to advance, and then we can clean it up later. That seems like a more realistic, interesting problem that I just kind of wish they would have explored that more. But then at the same time, they try to explore so many different topics that everything feels underdeveloped. The whole family dynamic in this, it was supposed to be emotional, but I didn't really feel it. Queen Atlanna was there and she was kind of happy that her two sons were finally settling their differences. Arthur and his dad was supposed to be like, the dad is sort of supposed to help him out, give him good advice. There was nothing really there, and then Black Manta didn't even kill Arthur's dad, which, I mean, I'm glad he didn't die, but it just seemed kind of unfinished. And then obviously because of the whole Amber Heard drama, Mira wasn't in this, so Arthur's family was kind of just him as a part-time single dad. And the only thing that made me care about Aqua Baby was because he was cute. He was a really cute baby, and I was like, no, we don't want to hurt Aqua Baby. He's cute. I felt no emotional attachment to any of these relationships. I don't know, maybe there was some explanation for all of this that I just didn't pick up on. The whole I am Aquaman scene just was kind of weird. That doesn't make sense at all because Aquaman doesn't wear a mask. Everyone can see who you are. Your face is right there. And the significance of Iron Man Tony Stark saying that line is because he's very well known. Tony Stark as a human is very well known, so making that connection that he's Iron Man, that's a big reveal. Who on this planet even knows Arthur Curry? Maybe that's not something I should pick about. It's the last movie in the DCEU, which is probably why I felt like they didn't really care. They were just trying to have some fun. It didn't make sense, but it made sense when I didn't think about it, so I don't know what that means. I don't know what that says about this. Let me know how you guys felt about this movie because I would love to know.